We're here to protect you and the ones that you love. It's a good feeling to know that our efforts aren't going unnoticed.
It actually brought tears to my eyes to know that we have this support.
You're welcome. I must just say, you're welcome. It's stressful, but we're not going anywhere.
Welcome to another edition of Bucknell Men's Tennis Through the Decades. Tonight we have the decade of the 2000s. We've got some outstanding alums joining head coach Bruce Myers and one of our current student athletes on the men's tennis team here at Bucknell, Cooper Bradshaw. Cooper is a junior from Glen Ellen, California. And Cooper, we thank you for being on the session tonight. My name is Todd Newcomb, and I want to thank Geisinger, our sponsor for tonight's event. Geisinger has done a great job throughout the pandemic. And as always, they do a fantastic job day in and day out with our student athletes here at Bucknell. So let's get right to it. I'm going to introduce our guest and I'll turn it over to Coach. Our first guest from the class of 2005 is Gerald Dichiara. He ranks 19th on the all-time combined wins list with 98 singles and doubles victories. He ranks tied for 18th all-time with 49 singles wins, and he ranks tied for 18th as well all-time with 49 doubles wins. Our next guest from the class of 2008 is Ira Reibeisen. Ira was the team captain during both the 06-07 and 07-08 seasons. He ranks tied for 5th all-time with 145 combined singles and doubles wins. He ranks 2nd all-time with 76 singles wins, and he ranks 8th all-time with 69 doubles wins. Ira was an All-Patriot League first-team selection in 2006, 2007, and 2008. He was named to the Patriot League's 25th anniversary team. He was also the Patriot League Men's Tennis Scholar Athlete in 2007, and he was a 3-time ITA Scholar Athlete honoree. Ira won the Bison Club Award at the Department Senior Awards dinner. Our next guest, also from the class of 2008, is Ben Young. Ben was a team captain during both the 06-07 and 07-08 seasons. He ranks 16th all-time with 104 combined singles and doubles wins at Bucknell. He ranks 25th all-time with 45 singles wins and 12th all-time with 59 doubles wins. And our final guest from the class of 2009 is Ryan Sandburg. Ryan was a team captain during the 08-09 season. He's tied for 3rd all-time with 150 combined singles and doubles wins. He owns the school record for doubles victories with 87. He ranks 7th all-time with 63 singles wins. He was an All-Patriot League second-team selection in 2008, an ITA Scholar Athlete honoree in 2006, and Ryan won the Ronald J. Pete Pedrick Award at the Department Senior Awards dinner. So, Coach, we've got a great group. I'm going to turn it over to you and Cooper, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. First off, I got to ask, going off script here. So, Ira, were you happy when Nick broke your records or upset? Yeah, I've always wanted to know that. So, give me the feedback on that.
I think I'm always happy for someone to make progress on the team. So wins are good. So happy for everyone to break a record as long as it's not Ben.
That's awesome. So before sharing the great memories, and we'll go into that in more detail later, but let's, if we don't mind, I'd like to get into a little bit of the personal life and, kind of where you live, kids, married, what kind of career you're working with. So we'll go around and I'll start with Ben. Give me a little background of where you are now.
Sure. I'm in Connecticut right now. I have a beautiful wife of 1.5 years now. We've got a little fur baby, a little Labradoodle we just got. He's about 6 months old. We're both teachers. I'm a middle school English teacher, and then I coach the tennis team at the high school and do some other clubs and committees that I really enjoy. But that's kind of what I've been up to the last, I'm in the year 13 now of teaching and coaching.
Nice. Ben, don't forget, any recruits, send them my way.
Well, I'm always thinking about it. Always keep my eyes open.
There you go. Next, we'll go to Ryan Sandburg.
Yeah, so I'm living in the city of Orange in Southern California, and I am married to my wife, Bree, and we're expecting our first girl in March, so really excited for that. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and so I'm a program director of a mental health clinic here, and I'm also have my own private practice located in Tustin, California.
Awesome. Next, we'll go to Ira.
Sure. So I'm living in Manhattan with my wife and 2 daughters. One is almost 5, one is 14 months. I work a couple blocks away at Optionmetrics as the head of the account management team, although I've been working from home since March. That's pretty much it.
Okay. And then Gerald.
So I'm married, recently had a baby August 13th of 2019,
Congrats.
baby girl. And we also have a fur baby too. It's like about 7. And I'm a financial advisor at Ameriprise living in Setauket, Long Island right now.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. So obviously for what I'm interested in, give me a little bit of your stories from the recruiting experience as far as what was involved. Were you recruited? Were you more of a walk-on, and how you guys ultimately chose Bucknell to come and be a student athlete?
Is that addressed to me or
Anybody can answer. We can go around the horde reverse. We'll go start with
Gerald.
Yeah, there you go.
So actually I was recruited. I went to some sort of college tennis exposure camp at Lehigh and met
the Ed Krause.
What did you say?
The Ed Krause camp.
I guess I don't remember who ran,
but he still runs it at Lehigh.
Okay.
So yeah.
So Rebecca Helt was there, and she called Bob Hammerly about me, who came in and met me at like kind of the end of the week and watched me play there. And then pretty much from there, Bob just really aggressively pursued me and basically told me if I applied early, he's like, I will get you in. Because your grades and SATs, he's like, you're with that stuff, he's like, if you apply early, I can guarantee, pretty much like high level of conviction that you will get in. And I came and visited Bucknell, loved it, and it was an easy decision to apply early.
Great. I can't remember if it was Ryan or Ira next, but.
Oh, you're Ryan.
Yeah, I can go. So, being from Southern California, I never even heard of Bucknell before, and so I actually did have a motivation to go on the East Coast somewhere, and so I just kind of started looking at schools, looking at places that would play tennis. That was important to me. That would kind of be started playing, but also had good academics, and so that kind of led me to Bucknell. I remember kind of visiting and being on campus and kind of falling in love with it at the initial stage. Rebecca helped. Recruited me and kind of had a visit there, and it was a good fit and match, and I liked the team dynamics I saw when I visited, and so found my way there.
Great. Ira.
Yeah, so I was recruited by Coach Helt, and I was pretty familiar with Bucknell because my dad was a 66 grad. So I'd gone to Bucknell a few times to visit, really liked the idea of going to the school that my father went to, and really liked the campus, really liked the team. I remember, I think the team was playing at Bloomsburg and watching, Gerald and Asher and Nick and all the guys playing. And I remember just cracking up the whole time, thinking they were the funniest group of people I'd ever met, and loved it. So that was how I sort of ended up there. Coach Helt was really helpful in making sure it was a smooth transition, and I had a really great experience there.
Great. And Ben.
So I was also recruited by Coach Helt, and I got a little bit of an insider look. My sister graduated from Bucknell in 03, and my brother-in-law actually was also there, and he was a baseball player. So I got to look at both the academic component of the Bucknell school as well as the athletics program. So it was really kind of a great insight into the whole picture of what I was hoping to get to. Playing Division I sport was definitely something that I was striving for and aspiring to be. And I loved the combination that Bucknell had between athletics and the academics. So once I kind of visited a couple times and saw my sister's experience, saw my brother-in-law's experience, I just knew that it was the place I wanted to be too.
Great. So if you can recap, give me maybe one, maybe two of your most memorable experiences as a student athlete at Bucknell, specifically obviously tennis. So we'll go reverse order. Ben, what was your most memorable story of your time at Bucknell?
I've actually been thinking about this today because I figured this was one of the questions. I think it's sometimes the downtime that I remember the most, just hanging out with the team, the long bus rides, hanging out after practice. I think some of those are the memories that I kind of remember the most and kind of still cherish and think back to. Just, matches were great, and obviously we were successful, and and had a good run. But I think some of those just, times before or after matches and practices are what I remember the most.
Just to recap, though, obviously, did you guys practice indoors in the field house? Were you up at West Branch? Where were you guys practicing during inclement weather times?
Yes, we got to do a little bit of both. So we were in the field house a bit. Obviously not the most ideal surface, but we tried to make it work. And then we did go to West Branch fairly often. I don't remember how often or regular, but we did go there.
Okay, good. Ira, what was your best experience?
My best experience was freshman year spring break. That was just really fun, and it was just a lot of good memories for me. Really enjoyed it.
Where did you guys go?
Where did we go? To Hilton Head? Shimon, do you remember?
I think freshman year was Orlando.
Oh, that's how much I liked it that I don't even remember.
remember.
Just so many good times.
It was not Lewisburg.
It was all a blur, and it was great. But we beat Kansas that year, and it was fun watching the game with the whole team.
Yeah.
And I remember Garrett Neff throwing popcorn all over the place. Really excited. So that was a fun trip. And yeah, I mean, all my memories, at least maybe I'm blocking out the bad ones, but all my memories of the tennis team were really fun, and I really enjoyed it. And having West Branch to play at was really helpful for training purposes. The indoor courts, I don't know if you still use them.
We do.
But they're heinous.
Yes.
It's a crime against tennis. So having West Branch is really helpful. And I remember, I would go with Gerald and play, and Ryan a lot, and Asher a lot. And it was really helpful for making sure that we could stay in shape and try to represent ourselves and the team as, best as possible when it was time to compete.
Ryan.
Yeah, just speaking of West Branch, that's where I played a lot there. I tried to refuse to play anytime I had to in the field house. I would make anybody drive me to West Branch, and anybody who would get in the car with me and go to West Branch to play. So, I have a lot of good memories from our team dynamic. I think ultimately what stands out is just our team was really close at that time and really kind of relied on each other. Some of my favorite times were getting everybody up at 6 a.m. to do workouts or pushing them to run a little faster. Those are things fun for me. But then also, I don't travel for work, but, be able to get in the bus with our team and go to different hotels or even spring break at, Hilton Head or in Florida was really kind of a fun and different experience. Kind of getting away from school, getting to be with some friends and getting to play some tennis at a competitive level was really a fun thing for me.
Right. Gerald.
Yeah, and I'll echo what a lot of the other guys said. The spring break trips were all a lot of fun. I think the regular travel, but with the camaraderie that came with it, a lot of really fun bus rides. It's just you were sharing just a lot of time with people that were very similar to you at that time, which had very similar goals to you at that time. And it was just, I really loved that aspect of it. Anyway, yeah, I definitely do. Like Ira said, I try to block out the bad and remember the good parts of it.
No, that's great. I think Cooper has a couple questions for you guys as well.
Sure, yeah. I guess we can just keep doing the same order. But what advice would you give me or any other players on the team that are in the same program, obviously, about the college tennis experience at Bucknell?
Ben?
I guess we can start with Ben.
Just enjoy it. I think enjoy the process, enjoy the even some things that might seem monotonous or mundane. I think sometimes those can be the best. Enjoy the work, enjoy putting in the time, enjoy each other. And don't take things for granted. You never know what could happen right around the corner. I mean, here we are in COVID times, but I hope you guys get back out in the courts, and when you do, take full advantage of everything. So I'll just make sure that you push each other and enjoy the process.
Go with Gerald.
Yeah, so I completely agree with Ben. You really should definitely enjoy it and relax out there, have a good time. You will I still love the game. I still play. I try to play twice a week, on a good week, 3 times a week. And, in college, you're playing probably 5 or 6 days a week now. And I miss that a little bit. You'll probably never have the ability, unless you do it as a profession, to play as much as you get to play now. So rather than, I think when you're in it, you can stress about things. We all want to win. You want to do well. And of course that's true, but have fun and let it go. Just let it go out there. Have fun, enjoy it. It's a kind of a once in a lifetime experience that you'll never get that time back. So really enjoy every bit of it. Take it all in. And also the discipline and the camaraderie, the discipline and the sacrifices you make now will help you the rest of your life. A lot of people will not have kind of gone through that. And then they'll have to kind of make those transitions in the real world. You're already kind of being trained very well for the real world with the sacrifices you're making now.
Ryan?
Yeah, well, one thing I think that stands out to me as a good memory too is eating with the team in the cafeteria. So I encourage you guys to do that. That's a kind of fun experience. In terms of Gerald was talking about discipline and having time and ability to, play tennis. I think it's important that you guys take care of your body. Utilize the extra stuff that the team has given you, like the workout room and doing some extra conditioning. That's really helpful. And I think just like Gerald kind of said, it helps in your life after college too, but also getting the record books to kind of play every game, taking care of your body and making sure you're playing every match. And so, yeah, those are some of my recommendations.
Yeah, I think touching on what Ryan just mentioned, I think you don't really understand and appreciate how many resources you have at Bucknell until you're not there. Having the trainers, the physical therapist, training room, and then Coach Shrek. The varsity gym now is tremendously different than when we had it, and it was pretty good when I was there. Now it's even better. I wish I could have that training now. I miss training. So I try to do it in other ways, not really on court as much these days, but I miss training, and you don't really have that many opportunities to express yourself competitively in a physical way once you graduate, unless you're playing tennis or something like that. So with regards to tennis, I would say enjoy the training because it's amazing. And you'll be like 35 and be like, oh man, I really miss that. And the second thing I would say is sort of related to the tennis experience is more on the college experience. College really is such a unique time. And I'm sure you've heard people say like Ben said, soak it up. And, it's really unique, and it is. But I would also sort of advise you to don't waste the 4 years. Try to meet as many people as you can while you're there, because it's sort of a closed environment where everyone's really open to introducing themselves and being friendly. Not that the world isn't like that, but it's not. So really use the opportunity to stretch a little bit and join a group or a club that you're like, oh, not to poo-poo on drama, but like, I want to do a drama club, or I want to do something that's non-traditional, because once you start a 9 to 5, you won't. So you should really broaden your horizons as much as possible. This is your chance to do that. And then you'll get married, and then all the fun is done.
Speaking of the real world, what advice would you have about networking and finding the right job after Bucknell? Ira, we could start with you.
Sure. I would say you should network. And the first thing you should do is put yourself in a position so that you're an attractive candidate to a company. So my company is often in the market for people. But as an alum, I want you to come to me and not just say, hey, I want a job. Here are the skills I have. Here's my professional looking resume that I've worked on. Any advice? Would I be a good fit at your company? And put in the effort so that it shows you could be sort of value add, instead of the alum just potentially saying, sure, I'll just bring you in because. So I think I've had a lot of help from Bucknell alums over the years. They've been really great for me getting multiple jobs, but you have to put in the work to make yourself an attractive candidate so that you can get hired, is my advice.
Ryan?
Yeah, networking for my field is a little different. We're not trying to hire a bunch of candidates. I think, what I would say about networking is important, though, is you have to create your own support network, right? So Having people who are like-minded, people who know what you're doing is really valuable and important. And so you have to spend some time on building those networks and building that support system so you can have that built into. And so that starts at Bucknell by creating your relationships that might be in the same field profession as you're going into. But then also having a support network that's outside of your field sometimes is really important too, and networking from that way, that perspective as well.
Gerald?
So I echo kind of what Ira said earlier about joining different clubs. Like the tennis group, you have a great network right away from just the tennis team that you're on. All these guys, is your network, as well as any of us. We have something in common with you right off the bat. And that extends for after college too. I mean, yeah, in college you have more time to do those things, but after college, there, especially if you go to, I guess speaking from a person who's lived in Manhattan a lot of the time post college, there's just lots of things to do, and go do things that you're interested in outside of whatever your profession is, and you'll always be meeting people. It's good to kind of constantly be networking and trying to make connections because you just never know how you can help someone else or someone else can help you. And you'll find there's a lot of different people out there that have things in common with you all over, no matter where you are, no matter where you end up.
Yeah, I echo a lot of what the guys were saying. Bucknell to me has always been very unique in the sense that there's just such a pride in the school that extends from when you're a freshman through senior, then even afterwards. I always tell people that are thinking about it, one of the things that stands out to me the most is when you walk around campus, you see kids wearing Bucknell head to toe and not many other colleges. There's just something special about it. And the same can be said for when you leave college, you talk to people, you meet people, and you find someone that went to Bucknell, there's an immediate bond. And you will find people definitely want to help, and the support system and support that they want to offer you is genuine. And I think that's something that you can definitely take advantage of. My recommendation is just, try to figure out what it is you want to do and be passionate about it. And I think that passion will be able to take you far.
Thank you so much. If time permits, I have one more question. If there's anything you could do differently during your time at Bucknell, what would it have been? You could start with Ben.
So I really enjoyed my time, and I always try not to have any regrets, but I do think back to what if I, worked harder and did more, more lifting, or I got some more extra hits in, so I'm proud of what we did as a team, but I do always kind of wonder what if we, did a little bit more here, a little bit more there. But I think that comes with learning. I feel like that has served me well as I've grown up and ventured out into the real world. But I think I would just, don't shy away from putting extra time or extra work in.
Hey, Ben, would you change bricking those volleys at Quinnipiac in the finals?
If you can't tell, Ira was my partner at the time. It was a nice sitting volley. We had match point right on the top of the net. And yeah, I didn't.
The wind almost blew it over, and somehow Ben missed it. I would change
hence the wind. The wind was so crazy. The ball was swirling.
There was not even a hint of wind.
I mean, those guys I think they're on the pro tour. They're so good too, So that's why it too.
I would change that. That would be the only thing.
All right, that's on my top 3 list right there. There you go.
I bricked a volley against Navy that still haunts me. Sorry, Asher.
I was up 4-love against Navy in a set, and I lost that set, so that still haunts me too. But now we digress, so someone else can jump in.
Ryan or Gerald?
I mean, I would change beating Army and Navy more often. That would have been something I wish I could have done. I don't know if I full-heartedly believe this too, but I do regret not doing study abroad. I don't regret not taking the time away from tennis, but I do wish I had that study abroad experience. So it's kind of a give and take kind of thing. And yeah, I think that's my recommendations.
Yeah, Cooper was actually going to study abroad. Where were you going to study abroad this summer, Coop?
I was going to go to the Ivory Coast, but
so it wouldn't have impacted tennis at all. But obviously, it got canceled. So.
Yeah.
It's a hard question, I will say, in terms of what you can do differently, because you're doing what you think it makes the most sense for you right now. It's really hard to kind of like for us to look back and to go, what could I have done differently? So I would just, but I guess forced to kind of answer that question. I guess I would have tried to focus a little harder on my studies. And believe it or not, I'm sorry, coach. A little less on the tennis, a little more on the studies, to be honest, because I feel like a lot of times I spent class thinking about tennis. And look, tennis is great, and you'll have tennis the rest of your life, but pay attention to your professors. There's some smart professors there, and you're at a great school. Like, definitely think about what it is you want to actually do with your life, and take advantage of all the smart professors, and all your classmates are smart too. Like, make sure you think about the world too, and what you really want to do. And yes, tennis is fantastic. I love it, but I guess don't lose sight of your career. I know that's weird, I guess, advice to a junior in college, but but it's probably a good move to start thinking about it now. I wish I would have thought about it sooner. I don't think I really started thinking about it until senior year, midway through senior year, which was probably a little late.
Thank you
I
so much.
also would have spent a little more time on my mental tennis game. It's maybe fitting for me being a therapist now, but I threw my hat way too many times, and I probably could have won more matches if I was a little more stronger mentally. So I would have focused on that a little bit too.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Yeah, those are all great answers.
Your mental, I don't know if anyone agrees with this, your mental just automatically gets better. At least I could say for me, post college, you're gonna be like, why didn't I have this brain 5 years ago? So just expect that and don't be annoyed about it when it happens.
I can vouch for that because actually looking at the screen, both Ira and Gerald have both come out to join my tennis team at high school for a couple practices. And I think both of them are better now than they were back in college even.
Tim's lying.
Ryan, I want you out there too, but the flight might be a little bit too long for you.
Todd, do you want to take over from here, or?
I think you got a couple questions left there, Coach.
Okay.
I got number 4 and number 5.
All right. This is an interesting one. Who was the teammate, either now or while you were in college, that you respected or looked up to the most? We'll go Ben first.
Oh man, I like going first here.
No pressure.
No, I mean, actually just looking at the guys on the screen, I think that each person was unique in their own way. And I feel like I learned something from everyone on the team. It was one thing I loved about the team was how diverse it was. People from all over the East Coast, New England. We had Sandburg from California. The varying backgrounds just made it really cool to kind of meet people and get to know people. I don't know if I could really single one person out. I remember Nick D'Onofrio was a captain when I was a senior. When he was a senior, I was a freshman. I remember him driving me to the first tryout we had. And I remember just, being a little freshman, him driving me to the tryout. I remember that stood out to me. Kind of just a cool thing that he just stopped to pick me up and took me there. So that kind of just set the tone for just kind of how the team operated. Otherwise, I just enjoyed everyone.
Right. Ira.
Yeah, I'll take the safe way out like Ben did and say I really liked and respected everyone on my team pretty much all 4 years. Like Gerald sort of touched on a few times, everyone has like-minded goals, was working really hard. I think my sophomore year, we started doing the 6 a.m. lifts that Ryan talked about a little bit earlier. And, if you made it through that and not everyone did, the team was in a better place after that. And it's hard not to respect the people that are, putting in the work and doing everything that you're doing. So, everyone was trying really hard, was, busting their butt, really supportive. So it's hard for me to just say, oh, this one person, when I really, really appreciated it at the time, but really taking, being out of it for a couple of years now, you can look back and reflect and say, wow, I really appreciated this time with this group of guys.
Who was captain your freshman year?
I think it was Gerald. Was it just Nick or?
It was me as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Ben is just the worst. I don't even think Ben was captain, actually, despite what
It was like him
Despite what-
driving.
Yeah.
You know I love Gerald. Gerald, I love you.
And it was Nick and Gerald. And I remember they just made it really fun and really easy to be a part of that team, which, you know, when you're a freshman, even if you're recruited or not, it's new and it's different. And there's already a bond with that core group of guys. So they made it really easy to come in and, you know, be a part of the team, which is a great feeling and pretty unique to college sports in, you know, in general, but really Bucknell in particular.
Gotcha. Ryan, who would you give me a little background with who you look up to? Who do you admire?
Yeah, there's a couple of people. One is Asher. You know, Asher, I think probably was our captain when I was a freshman, and he helped model kind of working hard, but also, you know, having a fun and kind of a way to do that in a safe way. And then actually Ira was not easy. You know, you were hard on me, Ira, but it really, you know, you really paved the way to kind of work hard, and there's some outcome of that too. And so I think that was valuable to this day in my life.
And Gerald.
Yeah, you know, I felt like all the guys were great. But I will say, actually, Ira, you stood out as a freshman to come in. I was used to a team that was always just really even. Like everyone, there was like people numbered 1 through 6 were similar levels, so it seemed like anyone could play any spot. And then Ira comes in as a freshman, and he was clearly better than everybody, but he handled it really well. I felt like he was very mature about it as a freshman. I was impressed by his maturity. I was a senior, so I only got to play 1 year with him, but I thought that he handled it really well because he was, you know, in a way it was potentially could have been mishandled, but he handled it incredibly well. And I was definitely impressed with the level of maturity. He was definitely a lot more mature than I was when I was a freshman. That stood out to me.
And then lastly, just starting, halfway through my 5th season at Bucknell, and obviously I've coached at different places, and Bucknell is definitely by far the most unique place as far as any Division I program I've ever been associated with. But one piece of advice each of you could give me from your experiences as a student athlete here. So we'll go back up and say, Ben, what advice would you give me?
I think staying connected to the guys, trying to stay, you know, close with the current, the former, picking their brains, trying to remain, you know, up to date with kind of the pulse of the team, and you know, just trying to make sure that you continue to put the team first, which it seems like you're doing. You know, pushing the guys and trying to make sure they achieve excellence both on the court and off the court. And I think that camaraderie piece is important, as you've heard all of us say. I mean, all of us have been speaking in high regards about the time we had, and a lot of that comes down to the relationships that we were able to build. And I think that enhances the team, that enhances the experience, and also makes you stronger on the court. So I think trying to build that camaraderie and brotherhood is an important piece.
Ira, your feedback, what advice?
Yeah, you know, as I've gotten a little bit older, I've had time to reflect on a lot of things, and it's not easy being a head coach or an assistant coach at a D1 program or any top program. There's a lot of politics involved, you know, with alum and current students, and a lot of personalities and emotions. It's hard making that blend. And I think, as sort of Ben touched on, to make that blend as best as possible, I guess, is really your job, right? And then helping the kids be the best they can on and off the court is your responsibility, which is a pretty big responsibility. So I guess getting to know the players, getting to know what drives them, motivates them, what are their goals. Not everyone wants to be, you know, a tour player when they graduate. Some people want to go be, you know, work in mental health or finance or whatever the profession is. So understanding their motivations is probably really important to figure out how to get the most out of them. But it's not an easy job, and best of luck, because it seems like you're doing a great job, especially in this time of COVID. So I really appreciate that as an alumni, seeing the the Instagram photos of the kids doing things in the community, I think it's great. And it looks like, they're having a great time, even a very difficult time.
Well, thanks, Ira. Ryan.
Yeah, don't make anybody play in the field house courts. That's not fun.
Cooper hates those courts too, so we're fine.
But really, I think it's, the advice I kind of give a coach is, tennis is important, and it's also that bond with the teammates are important, and kind of giving those life experiences. So, even when you're thinking about, spring break trips, how do we kind of give a different experience to the kids that are on the team, and help them connect with each other. So those are my kind of points of advice.
Appreciate it. Gerald.
Yeah, no, really just encouraging that camaraderie, like all my colleagues here have said. That's what a lot of us probably remember the most, is your teammates really rooting you on. This is such an individual sport, but you get such the team feel in the college experience, which was amazing. I really loved that. I think it's important to encourage that, and then also just being kind of positive encouragement for these kids to improve, because everybody there does want to improve. Yes, some of them probably have some higher aspirations than are realistic. We all probably can relate to, but everybody does want to get better there. And so just like letting them know that you're seeing them actually get better, and encouraging them to get better, encourage them to cheer each other on. I think those are, in my opinion, probably the most important things.
I appreciate that.
Wow, you guys flew through those questions. So I have one more for you, and I know Ira might have to leave soon, but this goes back to what Gerald mentioned earlier, and I think it's something that Cooper can take back to his teammates, and coach will probably have the team watch these. But what skills or anything did you take from your time as a student athlete that helped you in your life up until now, either in your job, in your relationships, whatever it may be? And let's start with Gerald and go backwards.
Sure. So, in tennis, you get a really wonderful lesson of learning to take responsibility. You can point to the sun or the wind or the net, but the reality is your opponent's playing with the same conditions you are. And when you lose in singles, there's no one to point the finger at but yourself. So you kind of learn very quickly, I got to take ownership of this. I want a different result. I got to work harder. And I think that is something that tennis teaches you. And with all the matches that these guys get at the college level, they're getting that lesson over and over again.
I think Ryan's up next.
Yeah, I would say, the lessons of hard work really pay off, and it does often in the real world too. I remember, going out there and bringing that extra basket of balls and hitting all serves by myself. There was a purpose of me doing that. I don't really know if I made more serves the next match, but I did the effort and I put it in. I think there's some value in that. So that hard work and that work ethic is something that I was to take away from my team, and the camaraderie, kind of connecting with each other, being a teammate is something that helped me lead and lead a profession I do now.
Ira.
Yeah, I think complementing what Gerald and Ryan said, as a manager of a team right now, when we're looking to onboard people, I'm looking for someone who takes ownership, handles a task, and if they do it well, can explain to someone else how they did it well, and if they don't, they own it and then learn from it. And I think tennis is really great about, oh, my forehand stinks, or I shouldn't brick easy layup volleys. I should work on that when there's no wind at Quinnipiac, that sort of thing. So time management also is a really big one. I think my college experience would have been very different if I didn't play tennis 30 hours a week or whatever it is, whatever is NCAA legal. We would go right up to that amount and never cross it. But, being able to do your studies while playing, while traveling, while, missing a class here or there, it's not easy. If you can do that as a potential employer, I'm going to be that much more impressed, because I know you can handle your stuff. So there's so many lessons from tennis. Probably the biggest one for me is can you win? That's what I want. I want to win, whether it's at work or on the court or something like that. So learning how to win and when, conditions are against you, I think is also really important.
Ben?
I'm surprised you didn't mention this at my wedding. He gave a speech at my wedding. I'm surprised it wasn't a big focal point at this point. No, so with tennis, I think that tennis is such an interesting and unique sport, as other guys mentioned, where it is an individual sport, and yet you're bonded as a team in college. So I think that tennis can teach you both how to be independent and yet collaborative at the same time. And college tennis and college athletics in general, I think, do a great job of instilling time management and priorities, and help you work through a lot of situations that other students might not experience. So I think you come out with more experiences that others wouldn't.
Coach, any closing comments you want to offer these guys before I wrap it up? You're on mute.
You guys are obviously an interesting team, kind of bridging the gap from the Hammerly to Rebecca era. I've spoken to some of you in the past. I haven't heard, like Ben, I haven't heard much from you. So I need to do a better job, because you guys are an interesting group that I'd like to get to know even better. This year was supposed to be our 100th anniversary of men's tennis being a varsity sport on campus. So we were, in March and April, we were starting to met with Todd even a couple of times to plan a big celebration, but obviously, that's not going to happen. So we might have to hopefully celebrate the 101st anniversary and get everybody back, and have Ryan flying from Cali and everything like that. So, yeah, I would love to have you guys connect with current student athletes, offer your wisdom, because you guys, obviously, being where you are now in your careers, you still have really fond memories of your times, not only as a tennis player at Bucknell, but also as a student, and where that led you. So appreciate you guys taking the time tonight. So it's been great.
I'm going to focus my comments first to Cooper. Cooper, thanks for taking the time tonight. And we're going to keep our fingers crossed that come later this spring, you're going to be on those courts behind me playing competitive matches. That's what we're all hoping for. And who knows at this point, but we're going to be positive and say you're going to be doing that. And we wish you the best of luck. And again, thanks for taking the time tonight. And then to the alums, guys, thanks so much. It's good to reconnect with all of you and to hear how well you're doing. And we appreciate the advice you were able to hand out tonight. And thank you for what you did while you were a member of the team here, but also what you've done since you graduated from Bucknell for the program, because Bucknell Athletics program and men's tennis program can't be what it is without the support we get from our alumni. So I really appreciate all that you guys do. And then for those of you who tuned in at home tonight to watch, we thank you for doing that. Go Bison.